Hi, my name is Zoe, and I love being Zoe, and this is my journey into self discovery. I come to you in just how I am today. I woke up this morning feeling so slumpy and feeling really stuck and weird. And then I realized that I'm reading a really low key triggering book. The book is Healing the Shame That Binds You by John Bradshaw, okay? And I got this book off of Instagram. I'm gonna put the creator's handle somewhere on the screen. He recommended reading this, and it resonated with me, girl. A little bit of my background, okay? If you don't follow me on Instagram, me and my private account. My parents they were 17 when they had me. Life was crazy. I'm sure that you will hear about it. I just wanted to give a little bit of an intro to what I wanted to share with you. I did a stream of consciousness this morning because my brain just wouldn't stop. And I am somebody who experiences PMDD. We can talk about that too another time. It sucks for like half the month. It's awful. And I'm coming out of my period. I'm coming out of my period now. And I'm getting back into the flow and had the energy and was like, fuck it.
Let's do it.
This is real. This is me. I'm just gonna talk to myself to this picture that I found of me from when I was little, but specifically at my mom's house, and also the Cinderella dress that I used to wear all the time because when I was a kid, I was obsessed with it and I wanted to wear it every single day, and I was really happy that my mom let me. And something that made me really sad when I saw this picture is that I recognized this girl more than the pictures that my grandparents took of me, my dad's parents, where I split the time over at my dad's house and my mom's house. And the person that I was at my mom's house was so different than the person I was at my dad's house. And neither of them necessarily felt like me. Both of them felt like adjustments to the environment that I was in. And I think looking at this picture right now is making that really fucking apparent. I need to lower this music. I love you, healing energies. I love you so much. I just need you to be more in the background. Oh, not the TV off. Close that. Okay. Anyway, I had said to myself earlier, what if I just did everything out loud? And what if I moved my body the way that it felt good to do without the shame of having to be quiet or having to sit still or having to be mindful of anybody else? And I find that so much of my friction with consideration in the moments that I'm the most heightened come from, I don't think, really feeling very considered as an egocentric child, as we all are. And the felt thought, it felt like I didn't matter, and I needed to make myself really small. And at one house, that meant being quiet and polite and nice and performing in that way. And at my mother's house, I said at one house and then I out my mother. At my father's house, I had to be nice, quiet, and polite. And at my mother's house, I had to be resilient and strong and protect myself and my mom. And so there was this switching between, both of these places that just, oh God, and for a long time, I really thought that, my mom's family was crazy. My dad's family is, they're regulated, they're perfect, they do everything right. And I was so wrong about that. And There's so much that I learned from my mother and her house and my mother's side of the family that I never gave it enough credit for, that has really showed out for me in my adulthood, that like I am so proud of. And I am so, like, my mother's ambition and her passion and her strength really is something that I am so proud to have inherited. And my father, his humility, his grace, his creativity, his ability to question the things that are around him also feel like strengths that I've inherited and that I feel really proud of. And I feel like it's important to recognize the positives in your parents in order to recognize the positives in yourself. And the first time that I realized that, I was looking in the mirror and it dawned on me that I had looked like my mom, and that scared the shit out of me. It scared the shit out of me, the ever-loving shit out of me. And I realized how much I was scared of myself in that moment, and how many parts of myself I didn't want to or wasn't able to or couldn't accept as a part of me because I resented them in her. And, you know, now, real time, I'm just connecting just the pain of so many forces. And first and foremost, my fucking pain. And like, back to the consideration, there was not a lot of opportunity for my pain to be at the center. As a child, as a kid, my expression was incredibly limited. You know, just to adjust to such contrasting environments and how confusing that was, because both the environments were so confusing, but as I got older, there was this physical responsibility to move myself from one to the other every week. So literally half my week I, spent I adjusted myself to one version to another every single week. Every single week I did that. And there was so much chaos in between. And in the last few years, and I think more recently in these last, I don't know, like 3 to 5 years, in my early 20s, there's this part of me that I think wanted to escape and also really desired relief. And in some ways, I have found that, woo! And have made that happen for myself in a way that I couldn't have ever dreamed of beforehand, in the sense of finding the courage to go and to move and to take a risk, and now pushing myself to ask, what other risks can I take as I build trust with myself, knowing that there is likely always a solution to something. And if there's not a solution to something, it's usually time. And if time isn't the solution, then acceptance. And, like, those are, if you're looking for relief. And sitting and pausing with yourself. And my therapist, LaShawn Dean, okay, my therapist is the best therapist that I have ever worked with. I have been in therapy for 20 years. And the way that she is able to articulate the experiences at hand is just simply unlike anything I have ever experienced. And I'm really, really incredibly grateful for it. And what was I just talking about? LaShawn, trickle down therapy. The power of pause. The second that you are unkind to yourself, anything that you say after that is null and void. Like, anything that comes after that, like, is just null and void. It's not helpful. And if you are a logical, analytical, intellectualizing bitch, okay, it's not helpful. It's not. You've experienced enough of that. I've experienced enough of that. And it's just, you don't deserve it. You're worth so much more of being taken care of and being able to create a center for yourself. To center yourself. And to be able to learn the balance of, and the humility, I think, of allowing other people to come in. It's a very humbling experience. That's why it's so vulnerable, because it's scary and it's terrifying, and you want to put the blanket all the way up, over your nose for your eyes to peek out every once in a while. Yeah, because it's fucking scary as shit to be totally honest with another person, especially if you're in the process of being honest with yourself, because it's not an all or nothing task. It's a touch and go. You build it up, you kind of break it a little bit, you build it back up, you kind of break it a little bit, and then there's a point where after doing that enough, your baseline does get higher. And that's kind of what, I've tried to practice, at least over the years, to cope with adjusting to so many environments and people and places for my own safety, emotionally, physically, sexually. And I've absorbed so much shame of other people that I don't deserve to absorb, because it was never mine. It was something that was passed down to me, unfortunately. And it's something that I can recognize in my parents, and also allow myself to step into releasing that learned shame. Especially because that shame that I have inherited is, it was just never fucking mine. I wasn't born that way. I was not born that way. I did not feel that way. There was a me that existed before all of that. There was a me that existed within all of that. She's in there. I see her peek out, and I love her, and I want her to be able to fully pull the fucking blanket down, bitch. I want her to pull the blanket down without fear. Okay? And I think that is that's what keeps me so stuck, is that I get so scared. Point A, exhibit A, okay? This morning, I woke up, I felt so slumpy. I had a physical therapy appointment, didn't want to go to it, told veterinarian, that's because I lied because of shame. But I lied. And I said I had a physical therapy appointment this morning, and I felt so awful. And I felt so just like stuck in bed. Like, I can't fucking do it. Because like, it feels that way. It feels like you are, as I described to my best friend last night, it feels like I am peeling myself off of fucking asphalt. Hot fucking asphalt. Every 2 weeks, PMDD, mood disorders, literally depression, anxiety, whatever, living in this world. Okay, there's so much inner and outer fucking turbulence. And shame, God, is so embedded into all of it. And I hate it. I hate it because I never deserved it. I never deserved it, to absorb the world's shame. And I was able to, I think, confront and face that much more clearly in my childhood, in my teenhood. Because the world does teach you in a lot of ways, okay? Ones that we don't want to learn from, but, we do because we live in it and it sucks. But once we realize it, that's when it becomes responsibility and action. And the world was one thing and it continues to be a big thing. And then you add how your world fits into this world and how all worlds are connected to each other. And focusing in and zeroing in on my world right now is really mind-boggling. Is really mind-boggling. Just to think about how I was treated and how I had a really hard time recognizing that as pain I was experiencing, and instead was internalizing that guilt. Internalizing that as guilt. And for years, I just felt guilty for my own being. Just felt guilty for my own fucking being. And that's toxic shame for you, okay? There was a creator, a therapist who recommended this book, and let me tell you, it's opening doors. Because I'm asking myself questions now that I don't think that I've asked myself in years, that I've never thought to ask myself, that I've peeked at, looking at, that I've dabbled with shadow work and reflection and all these things. And reflection is awesome. Reflection is beautiful, and also there's only so much looking in that you can do, and looking out and looking at the reality and grounding yourself in what is physically fucking around you, okay? Like, instead of, oh God, because there's your mind, and then there's reality. There's thought and there's reality. And I get lost. I have gotten lost in thought so many times, entangled in my thoughts, if you will, and have just found it so difficult to, it feels like when your necklace just gets knotted all the way up and you have no idea what fucking end it's coming from, and suddenly you're just frozen, and it's suddenly coming from everywhere. And that's what happened to me this morning. I woke up, I lied to my physical therapist, and said I had a vet appointment that I forgot about. And I stayed in bed, and my mind was just so lost in the thought. And then my cat, my wonderful cat, because I have a wonderful, beautiful cat that I am so grateful for, Louie. And we got another cat, Cleo, who's beautiful, and she's gonna get all her teeth taken out, and I'm so excited for her to not be in pain anymore because she has fucking stomatitis, something like that. Nonetheless, he was just like on the edge of the bed, and I looked at him and I was like, holy fuck, like, you're literally alive. Like, you are alive and you're here with me. And like, I just felt his spirit, man. And I went over to him, and he would just started licking me, and I just started fucking crying. Oh my God. And it was amazing, because I realized in that moment that, like, oh, I'm in pain. I'm in pain. I'm leaking. I am leaking. It's coming out. And I can let it come out. And you know what? I actually felt better afterwards. And when I asked myself what pain I am in right now, presently, it feels like the pain of the unknown, a conscious unknown and the fear of a subconscious known. That is where I feel very liminal. That is where I feel scared and stuck in, because you know what? You don't know what you don't know. And from what I do know, I don't know if I want to know what I don't know. You know? That's going to make sense to a select few. And to those people, you are my people. Right. And so that's what's on my mind today. That's what's on my mind this morning. And action steps, next steps, I think, for today. Was getting out. I got dressed in the order that I wanted to. Sometimes I get stuck in the order of which I'm doing things, which sucks because it's like the freeze, you know? But the good news is that you don't actually have to do things in that way. You don't have to be rigid. And I loosened myself up, and so I was like, okay, I can actually get dressed first because that's what I would like to do. And then I can make my bed. You don't have to make your bed first and then okay, no. You can follow what it is that you would like to do and how you would like to do it. And so I did that. And then I went and I got a cup of coffee. And I was really excited. I didn't want something too sweet, so I didn't get anything too sweet instead of my usual order. Okay? I came back. I put on my healing sounds. I'm gonna do some Qigong. I smoked a little bit of weed. I did do that. And that's okay because I feel functional and here, and it feels nice to still talk out loud and get to have a little conversation with myself and see how we can continue to carry this. I want to say lubricant, like, throughout the day. How can we just loosen it? How can we grease it up? Let's lube it up. How can we lube up the day? That's girl, how you doing? I'm lubing. I am trying to make things better. That is where I'm at. That's how I feel. So let me know how you lube today. I'm gonna continue to just try to be here and ground myself in my body. Do some tapping, do some swinging, do some yelling. Feels good. Especially in your home, you can start there because you're literally with yourself, and it's kind of cool to unwind some of that conditioning, some of that shame, if you will. So I'm gonna do that today, get some work done, and make a goal of starting one page of a case study that I have to do. Okay, I'm gonna open up my journal. I'm gonna open up my little planner because I use a weekly planner, and it really does help to kind of visually organize everything that's happening in the brain. So let me go write that shit down. Okay, have a beautiful day. This was me. I love being Zoe. Fuck it, episode 1. And yeah, I'm just gonna rip the blanket off with this one. Hope you can relate. Let me know. Love you. I'm excited. I really want to share more parts of myself without being scared. I think that my fear extends partially into my work, into my relationships, and I think, though, that if I stay true to who I am and to my experience and just the things that I've learned, that's definitely worth sharing, at least to me. And I think that's all that matters. So, if anything, I invite you to join me on this journey of self, if you will. There's been a lot that has changed, and I'm about to be 26. It's crazy. That's literally so crazy. So I'd love to share what's on my heart and what's on my mind this morning. And yeah, here goes nothing.